You're listening to a song you love. The music builds, a voice climbs, and then it breaks open. And a wave runs up your arm. Tiny hairs stand on end, a shiver crosses the back of your neck, and for a second your whole body reacts. Here's the strange part. Your skin just tried to fluff up a coat of fur that you no longer have. Most people call this being moved. They think it's only emotion, a feeling with no body attached. But what you felt was a physical reflex, a real event in your skin with a name and an ancient job. It's the same reflex a frightened cat uses when its fur puffs out and it seems to double in size. And here's the part that divides a room. Not everyone feels this. Depending on the study, only about half to two-thirds of people ever get these chills from music at all. So some of you know this wave intimately, and some of you have never felt it once. By the end, you'll understand why. Let's start with what actually happens on your skin. Every hair on your body sits in a tiny pit, and attached to that pit is a microscopic muscle. Scientists call it the erector pili, which simply means the muscle that raises the hair. When it contracts, it tugs the follicle upright, the skin around it bunches into a little bump, and the hair stands up. That bump is the goosebump. The whole reaction has a name too. It's called piloerection, which literally means hair standing on end. Now, why would a body evolve a dedicated muscle just to lift a single hair? Because for almost every furry mammal, raising that hair does two crucial jobs. The first job is warmth. When an animal fluffs its fur, it traps a layer of air against the skin, and that trapped air holds in body heat. It's the same reason you fluff a pillow or a thick duvet. More loft means more insulation. The second job is size. A threatened animal raises its fur to look bigger and more dangerous than it really is. Think of a cat arching its back, or a dog with the hair rising along its spine. The animal hasn't grown at all. Every strand stands up to send one message to a predator, that this creature is bigger and more dangerous than it looks. The whole display is a bluff written in fur. Here's where you come in. You're a mammal who inherited this exact wiring, but somewhere along the way your ancestors traded a thick coat for bare skin. The muscle stayed. The nerve stayed. The reflex stayed. You lost the fur, but you kept the machine that raises it. So when the reflex fires today, those little muscles still contract, still tug at your follicles, and still try to lift a coat that vanished long ago. That leaves one question. If this reflex evolved for cold and for fear, why on earth does a song set it off? The answer sits in your brain's reward system. Back in 2001, researchers first showed that intense musical pleasure lights up the same deep brain regions as food and other powerful rewards. Then a team led by Valerie Salimpour and Robert Zatora at the Montreal Neurological Institute went further. They put people into brain scanners while they listened to the music that gave them chills, and they tracked dopamine, the chemical your brain releases when something feels rewarding. And they found something precise. The chills came with a surge of dopamine, and that surge arrived in two separate waves. The first wave came before the big moment, while the music was still building. A region deep in the brain lit up in anticipation, almost like your mind leaning forward and predicting the peak. Then the peak hit, and a second region fired at the exact instant of release. Your brain was rewarding you twice. Once for seeing the beautiful moment coming, and once for arriving there. And that explains something you've probably felt yourself. A song you've heard 100 times can still give you chills. That's because your brain is constantly predicting what comes next, and when the music confirms a pattern you love or bends it just enough to surprise you, it pays you in that same rush. The chill is your reward for guessing beauty correctly. And this finally answers the question from the start. Why do some people feel chills while others feel almost nothing? The difference seems to come down to wiring. In people who feel these chills often, the pathways connecting the brain's hearing regions to its emotional and reward centers appear richer and more connected. It also tracks with personality. People who score high on curiosity and openness to new experience are far more likely to feel that shiver. So if music regularly gives you chills, your brain may simply be built with a stronger bridge between sound and feeling. And if it doesn't, that bridge is just quieter. Neither one is better. They're only wired differently. So the wave up your arm is really two ancient systems colliding. A reward circuit built to chase whatever mattered for survival, wired straight into a reflex built to raise fur you no longer own. But there's a twist hiding in that data, and it flips the whole feeling on its head. You would assume a chill means your body is ramping up, getting excited, sounding some kind of alarm. The brain scans suggest the opposite. As the chills grow stronger, the brain's fear and threat center actually goes quiet. The alarm system stands down. So the goosebump on your arm is the leftover shell of a fear response, firing in a moment when there's nothing at all to fear. It's your body bracing for a danger that never comes and feeling only the beauty instead. Think about where this happens to you now. It's the bass drop on your evening commute. It's the key change in a song you've loved since you were a teenager. It's the swell of a film score right as the hero finally turns around. In each of those moments, a reflex older than language is switching on inside your skin. You aren't only enjoying the music. A piece of your animal past is answering it. So the next time a song sends that wave up your arm, remember what it really is. It's a muscle reaching for fur that fell away thousands of years ago. It's a survival reflex that found itself with nothing left to survive. And it turned into one of the most beautiful feelings a human being can have. Maybe that's the strangest thing about you. The parts of you built for a harsher world didn't disappear. They just found new reasons to fire. And somewhere under your skin, an animal you'll never see is still listening.